Welcome to Gaming Intelligence. In today's deep dive, we're looking at something potentially huge for iGaming. We're talking about generative AI and how it might just completely reshape game design by 2026.
Yeah, it's a really hot topic. And honestly, it feels like it's about time. Because, the traditional way of making these games, it's slow.
Still inexpensive, right? I mean, the numbers are pretty staggering.
Absolutely. You're often looking at, 9 months? Sometimes even 18 months.
18 months, yeah.
Yeah.
And millions, literally millions of dollars.
Exactly. Millions sunk before a player even sees the game. That's a massive bottleneck.
Especially in iGaming, where everything moves so fast.
Yeah.
Players want new stuff constantly.
They do. And if you can't keep up with that demand for fresh content, well, you risk losing them.
So this is where generative AI starts to come in, to ease that pressure.
Precisely. We're seeing these AI models now that can generate text, create images, even some sounds and basic code snippets.
Okay, so it feels like we're really on the cusp here. AI moving from theory to, practical application in development pipelines.
I think so. It's starting to alleviate some of that strain.
So how is it actually being used right now, like day-to-day in-game design teams?
Well, one of the biggest impacts initially is in the creative stages. Think concept art, asset variations.
Okay, so generating different looks and feels quickly.
Exactly. AI can churn out loads of concept art, different styles for assets, things that used to take designers weeks, maybe longer.
And
now you can get variations potentially in days, or even faster for simpler things. It lets teams just see more, iterate faster.
That's a huge speed increase. It must free up designers to think about bigger picture stuff, rather than just drawing variations.
That's a key part of it. And it's not just visuals. We're also seeing AI assist with narrative scripting.
Really? Like writing dialogue or story points?
Yeah, or generating ideas for random events, creating basic plot structures. It's not writing the whole game, obviously. But it acts like a brainstorming partner. It can generate lots of possibilities quickly, helping the human writers and designers explore more creative avenues.
A tireless assistant, you could say.
Kind of, yeah. And then there's the coding side, too.
Okay, tell me about that. Is AI writing complex game logic?
Not quite yet. Not complex finished code, but AI-assisted coding tools are definitely speeding up prototyping.
How so?
They can generate boilerplate code, help debug, maybe suggest simple functions. It allows developers to build those early versions faster.
Which means they can get testing and player feedback much sooner in the cycle.
Exactly. Faster iterations, quicker validation of ideas. And there's another layer too, personalization.
Tailoring the experience.
Right. Using AI to analyze player profiles and then dynamically adjust things, maybe change the theme slightly, or customize bonus triggers based on how someone plays.
Sort of like how streaming services recommend content based on what you watch.
That's a good analogy, yeah. Applying that kind of thinking to the game experience itself.
But, and this seems important, the AI isn't taking over the whole process, is it? It's not like humans are becoming redundant.
No, not at all. At least not currently. The emphasis is really on amplifying human creativity.
Okay, amplifying. Explain that a bit more.
Well, it takes over some of the more repetitive, time-consuming tasks like generating those asset variations we talked about.
Yeah.
This frees up the human team members to focus their energy on, the core mechanics, the player journey, the strategic choices, the fun.
So it handles the grunt work, allowing humans to focus on the uniquely human aspects of design.
That's the idea. It's augmentation, not replacement, making the team more efficient and potentially more creative because they have more time and tools to explore.
And you mentioned a case study where this was put into practice.
Yes, quite a compelling one. An innovation studio used generative AI specifically for some slot mini-games tied to a seasonal event.
Okay, and what happened?
The results were pretty striking. They reported a 40% reduction in the time needed for asset production.
40%. That's significant. Just freeing up that time must have been huge.
It was, and it meant they could get prototype versions of these minigames ready for actual testing in under 2 weeks.
Under 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's incredibly fast for game development.
It really is. And because they could work so quickly, they actually tested several different narrative variations with real players.
So they could A/B test story elements almost.
Effectively, yes. And they found that this rapid testing and iteration led directly to higher player engagement scores on the final version.
That makes sense. They could zero in on what players actually responded to rather than just guessing.
Precisely. And the crucial shift was that the human team wasn't bogged down making slightly different background images or character poses. They were focused on refining the core gameplay loops, the user experience, making sure the mini games felt rewarding.
So the takeaway isn't AI is building entire games autonomously.
Definitely not yet. Maybe someday, but right now, the revolution is really in the process. It's about speed, flexibility, and being able to scale up the creative output.
Doing more, faster, and potentially better because you can test more.
Exactly. And looking forward, say, to 2026, like we mentioned at the start,
Yeah.
well, it seems pretty likely that studios who really integrate these AI-assisted workflows are going to have a serious advantage.
An advantage in what sense? Launching more games?
That's part of it, yeah. Increased quantity and variety, but also in their ability to personalize those games and adapt really quickly to what the market wants.
So if player tastes shift or a new trend emerges,
They can potentially react much faster than studios stuck in those long traditional development cycles.
it really paints a picture where early adoption isn't just nice to have, it's becoming almost essential to stay competitive.
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Those who wait too long might find themselves playing catch-up, and that's a tough position to be in.
So it's less about the tech itself and more about integrating it smartly into the workflow.
Yes, integrating it in a way that empowers the human designers and developers.
Okay, let's try and summarize then. Generative AI looks poised to really shake up iGaming design by 2026.
Yeah, primarily by boosting speed, increasing flexibility,
And allowing for greater creative scale, letting human teams focus on the core experience.
Couldn't have put it better myself. It's about using AI to enhance what humans do best and meet that constant player demand for new, engaging, maybe even personalized content.
Which leads us to a final thought for you, our listeners. As you watch this space, consider how the leading studios are actually doing this. What specific workflows are they building to blend AI tools with human talent? Where is that synergy really happening? That's where the competitive edge will likely be found.
Definitely something to watch.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into AI and game design on Gaming Intelligence. We'll be back soon exploring more trends shaping the iGaming world.